Well, hello, everyone. Stephanie, you cracked me up. Welcome to the Pitchy Podcast. We're your hosts, James
and Stephanie.
Here on the Pitchy Podcast, we are so passionate about a good music and a great vocal. We'll always use the vehicle of NBC's The Voice to give you our take on each contestant that actually makes it through.
Yes.
We'll give you our feedback on their voice and their overall performance. Here on the Pitchy Podcast, we'll always keep it 100 with our feedback and critiques of each contestant's vocal and overall performance. But what we're never here to do is come for any contestant, any of their character, or any of them as human beings. We're going to sometimes come off a little bitchy at times, if you know what I mean, but we'll always do our best to speak our truths with love, kindness, and respect. RESPECT.
That's right.
And with that, let's go ahead and get started with the penultimate, or the, I had to use my college SAT.
Come on.
$75 words, as I like to call them.
I know that's
penultimate, which is the second to last live session of The Voice. So, wow. So we had a really long night, Stephanie.
Mm-hmm.
2 hours. But you know what? I think you and I were so here for it.
Yeah.
I'm ready because I think it's a nice break from, say, Tuesday to the following Monday.
Oh, yeah. By Monday, we're ready to go.
We're ready to go.
Yeah. And we had that was 2 hours well spent last night.
Oh,
Absolutely.
yes, it was. Yes, it was. So without further ado, let's jump right in because we got a lot to discuss.
Yes, we do.
So who do we have first coming out the gate, Stephanie?
Yes. First up was Mariah Kylee. She's 17 years old from Orlando, Florida. And she sang Billie Eilish, I Don't Want to Be You Anymore.
I don't want to be you anymore.
I don't want to be you anymore.
What were you going to say, Steph?
And if you don't know why we did that, just go look at the title of the song in iTunes or wherever, and you'll see why we said it like that. I was just going to say props to Billie Eilish because she don't miss.
I was going to say the same thing, Stephanie. I was
lyrically,
let's talk about Billie Eilish.
She does not miss. There has not been one song of hers.
And when did she write all these songs? When she was 4? I mean, come on.
I mean, probably only 5 years plus of that. Like her and her brother Phineas, dynamic duo, very gifted, genius level.
To me, they are the Carpenters of today.
There you go.
And Karen Carpenter and her brother were that type of genius. Mm-hmm. And Billie has a voice, although nothing like Karen's, but as distinct and as musical as Karen's.
Right.
So yeah, it's insane what they have done at their very young ages. So
yes.
I was thinking, I was like, any child that's like 25 and under, I often have to wonder, who were they named after when their name is Mariah? Because I'm just like, you know what? Because that name was not a common name.
Right.
And I think Mariah, I think her mom is a singer too. Mm-hmm. And so I wonder if she was named after Mariah Carey. I always wonder that. So let me tell you, I love when the voice is like a thoroughbred in a race. And that, I mean, thoroughbreds are always ready to race.
Yeah.
And they jump out the gate and they're just, boom, ready to go.
Yeah.
I hope that wasn't too loud in the mic. But it was really wonderful to see such a strong vocalist at the jump.
Yeah.
And again, when I saw Mariah's age, and she started singing, I just was shaking my head. I'm like, what? The musicality.
Yeah.
Not just the quality of her voice, because the quality of her voice is amazing. Mm-hmm. The musicality, the choices, as Stephanie and I like to say.
Yeah.
The quality of these teenagers' voices. I mean, there are good teenage singers and there are excellent teenage singers. And then there are singers who you are in disbelief that they're 17, like Mariah, because Mariah And again, this is another shout out to Billie Eilish. Mariah took a Billie Eilish song and she Mariah-fied it. So what did she do? She didn't Mariah carry it.
Right.
She Mariah Kalia it.
Yes.
Okay. So she took a Billie Eilish song and made it her own. And not only did she make it her own, Mariah sounds like nobody really in the industry, Stephanie.
Right.
In my opinion. And I'm just like, Mariah, do you understand at 17 years old, now you made it through, but if you continue to take this style of yours and apply it to every other round from here on out, baby girl, you are going to make a run and a half on this show.
Right.
Because in my opinion, no one else sings like you. And for you to have this sound all of your own at such a young age is, to me, reminiscent of, now, not sounding like, but reminiscent of people like Stephanie Mills, the great Stephanie Mills, who at 17, 18, 19, when she came out and did The Wiz, she was the first Dorothy in the Broadway production of The Wiz. No one had a sound like Stephanie. It was all her own. Right. And that's what I'm most excited about when it comes to Mariah. I loved her story. I loved her family. I loved her look. Very age appropriate, but still funky and cool, right? And I love that sound, Stephanie. What say you, Steph?
When I first heard her voice, I was like, what?
Right.
This is not what I thought that I would hear, which is the beauty of this show a lot of the times. There was a really cool modern jazz tone to her voice that I found.
Very much so.
She reminded me, and I said this about an artist last week as well. She reminded me of a Corinne Bailey Rae, where she's got that cool jazzy kind of tone to her voice. I thought that Mariah made some really cool, mature vocal choices to this song, because I did have a chance to listen to the original, and it was not a copycat at all. And I thought that some of the melodic choices that she made were really, really cool. There were cool endings of, I like to talk about lines. The ends of her lines were really cool. They had like this textured, floaty something about them that that made the ends of her phrases really cool. Loved her falsetto.
Oh yeah.
I liked her. Like you said, she was like the complete package, and I really liked her.
She had that like Brandy's mid-90s look, didn't she?
Yeah,
like, remember how Brandy
looked
when she first came on the scene when she was a teenager?
Absolutely.
Like I'm cool, but I'm not wearing, I'm 17, right?
Right.
So I'm going to dress age appropriate in my and Stephanie's opinion. Now, I'm not telling you how to dress your kids. There's 17-year-olds who listen. I'm not telling you how to dress. I'm just saying, as grown folks, we think things are age appropriate. And you can be age appropriate and be cool.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And kind of like you said about her song choices moving forward, I'm interested to seeing whether that same sound translates through whatever other songs that she does in the competition. And also for the next round, how that will blend with whoever she's partnered with in the battles. That'll be interesting to hear too. So I'm looking forward to seeing what's coming up down the pipe for Mariah.
I also remember, though, if you remember last year, Eric Who's battle? Yeah. And how he got paired up with someone who had a completely different voice than him, and it worked. So I'm like you. I'm really excited.
Yeah.
Like, I hope they give her someone that has a very unique voice there.
Of their own. Yeah.
And they make it work.
Right. I think song choice played a lot into the battle you're talking about with Eric Who and Sydney. Sydney.
Yes. Paparazzi.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So who did she wind up choosing?
She's on Team Chance.
Good choice. And Chance has a very eclectic group of singers. So and the battle's going to be fierce. It's
Absolutely.
It's going to be off the chain.
Absolutely. I did my homework. So we have fun facts.
What we got?
So Mariah is at least a double threat. She is not only a singer, but she is a dancer.
That's right.
She is trained in ballet, jazz, lyrical tap, contemporary, and she's now focused on Afrofusion and hip hop. And I thought this was cool too. Her parents told her that education is of the utmost importance. So Mariah has until the end of this school year and into the summer to make it work with the singing, or she's going to have to go off to college. And you know what? That's a win-win, because even if the music thing doesn't pop off now, you go to college, you get your degree, and then you can do music on the backside as well. So I love that her parents are allowing her to explore a musical career right now, and is giving her options. So
thank you for bringing up the point. I had almost forgotten and I had a feeling you were going to talk about her dance with the fun fact, but I was a little nervous because they preempted her audition with this information. So I was like, okay, can you dance? But can you sing?
Right.
And if you're as good a dancer as you are a singer,
you're fire.
Yo.
You are fire.
Yo. Watch out, entertainers.
That's right.
All right. So who do we have next?
Next is Kylee Dane. She is 19 years old from Carrollton, Texas, and she sang Falling Water by Maggie Rogers.
Which I believe, and what is going on with the water down there in Texas? Because I believe this is the town, is right next to where Kelly grew up.
I think so,
Kelly
yes.
grew up in Burleson, Texas. So I'm like, what is in the water down there? Because let me tell you, Kylee was all of 19 years young.
Mm-hmm.
And Stephanie, sisters are doing it for themselves this season. The girls and the women this season, they're just, remember last season I was like, oh, it's about the country men.
Yes.
But this season, it's about the eclectic fusion of these voices. But let me tell you, Miss Kylee, that was an incredible audition. Kylee, you are someone I had to go back.
Yes.
I thought, without even having my good ears in, I thought that your audition was incredible. Mm-hmm. I put my good ears in this morning, and I just was like, yeah. I said, she is a force to reckon with on this show, and I am scared for anyone who is going to be paired up against her in the knockouts and the battles.
Mm-hmm.
I just because this young woman is an incredible vocalist.
Mm-hmm.
Her range, her sense of just how she manipulates her voice.
Mm-hmm.
It's just incredible singing.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm like, is this all felt or technically she was a good singer?
Yes.
And I just loved her. Again, here's another one, just crazy, funky style. And I don't know, Stephanie. It's hard to describe her voice because, again, she has such a unique sound. I can't compare her to anyone.
I can.
Oh. I was like, do I hear a little bit of country? Do I hear a little bit of folk? Do I hear a little bit of rock? Do I hear, I hear it all in her voice.
Yeah, yeah.
What you got for Kylee?
So it took me a minute, and I had to put my good ears on to grasp exactly who she reminded me of. But she reminded me of the alto version of a Cait Calvac from last season. That's
what it is. That's what it is.
Because her range is not as high, even though it was interesting because the song starts out in a higher key and then it kind of floats down, and where it seemed like she lived more was in the alto range. And I was like, she sounds just like Cait from last season, like the quality and the tone and the prettiness and the all around solidness, but it's got that kind of pop sensibility, but it could have a little bit of a country sensibility to it. That's what it reminded me of. Again, just like you, James, when I heard it live on TV, it was like, oh, this is good. This is good. I put that thing in my good ears. I was like, oh, this is on another this is on another level. I really loved her upper range, but I loved her lower range as well. I thought she did a good job going from her head voice or from her chest voice up to her head voice.
Yes.
She like 19, like that's all I kept thinking. Like, you're 19 and you're sounding like this. Like
it's like the female Kike of this season, right? Because Kike was 19, and I just was like, how can he do what he can do at 19? I'm thinking that about her. I'm like,
exactly,
it's just crazy.
The one thing that I thought was maybe a bit of a challenge for the coaches was the song choice, and I'll tell you why. Because of how this song goes, I guess I don't know the song. There were a lot of spaces within the song. Right. So it was like there was a verse or a half of a verse, and then there would be like a musical break. And then there was the other half of the verse, and then there was a musical break. And that, like there were just a lot of musical breaks for a 90-second audition.
Right.
So I'm really glad that her voice was as dynamic and she did as much vocally showing her range as what she did in the 90 seconds, because I feel like maybe a less strong singer, if they would have picked that song, might not have gotten through just because there was so much musical
we need to hear more, right?
Exactly. Right. Exactly. But she sang that song, let me tell you.
It takes a lot of chutzpah.
Yes.
That's the word I'll use.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. So who'd she wind up going with?
She's with Coach Blake.
That's a secret weapon, Blake, right there.
Yes. Yeah, I hope he knows that.
I think he does.
Yeah.
I think he does. Smart choice. Smart choice for going with Blake.
Yeah.
That's a secret weapon, because I have a feeling that Blake hears a little twang in her voice,
right? And
she can genre bend, as they say.
That's right.
so yeah, good choice.
Yep. The fun fact about Kylee is that she dreamed of being a pediatric surgeon, and she actually put med school on hold to come and audition for The Voice this season. Come on, talent and brains.
I see you, Kylee.
That's right.
See you. Pitchy Podcast sees you, Kylee.
Yes, we do. It was good.
But we need more of you, though. Go back to school, Kylee. I mean, I think you can make it as a huge artist. Like, that's how impressed we were with you. I think you should be a doctor, too.
Hey, come on. She can do both.
Look. Cut a gold album.
Yes.
Make them coins.
Yes. Get that coint.
And Stephanie might have to give a definition of what we mean by coint.
Okay, I'll put that in our lingo.
get the coint and then pay cash for med school. Come on.
I know. Come on, no debt. Come on, debt free.
So we all know med school's ridiculous, right?
Oh yeah. Yes.
Woo! Multiple hundreds of thousands. Right. Okay. All right, great. So who do we have next?
Next up is Gina Miles. She's 18 years old from Paxton, Illinois, and she sang Katy Perry's The One Who Got Away.
Gina was, and I hate using this term, because Gina, she presented herself younger than she was. And I think that has a lot to do with her confidence. Gina was, she was so nervous.
She was.
But what I loved about Gina is you didn't hear it in the voice.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, you know, Kelly, if you watch this episode, Kelly talked, I think Kelly was kind of indirectly calling people out for closing their eyes too long.
Oh, yeah.
Because Kelly
she said it multiple times. Yes.
And not just her.
No, with multiple people, multiple artists.
One of the greatest artists that we'll talk about of the evening, she said it about. But we'll talk about that one later. But Gina, here's another one. 18 years young. And like a very, like, every time I hear Gina sings, if this is Gina's authentic voice, which I have no reason to believe it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I hear someone like a Gina sing, I'm going to know it's Gina.
Right.
Because and she even alluded to it in her pre-story where she said, I've been working on my voice, my sound for a long time.
Yeah.
And good for you, Gina. Stephanie, it's getting hard. It's getting harder and harder. The closer and closer we get to the elimination rounds, I'm dreading because I'm just like, good singer after good singer after great singer after phenomenal singer after even some really good singers. I don't know how far they're going to go because the bench is getting deep.
I know.
Saying that, like when you got voices like Mariah, like Kylee, like Gina, who have these unique sounds and no one sounds like them. Everybody's got to step, especially because the teenagers are bringing it too, right?
Yes.
Everybody's got to step their game up.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful version of this Katy Perry song. So beautiful. I almost didn't even recognize the song at first.
It took me a minute too. I'm like, I know this, but it sounded so different than the original. I love that.
Mm-hmm. And that's what that is a testament, Gina, to your artistry. Mm-hmm. Gina, you've got the voice. You really do. You really have the voice, and stepping into your confidence. Yeah. Like just always go on stage knowing that if you always go on stage knowing that you have the voice, I think that will help elevate your confidence.
That's right.
And that's a lot of having self-confidence, really, to know that, you know what, I belong here. I have talent. I'm really talented. I have a unique talent, which you do. And they want to listen to me. They want to hear me.
Well, she got a chair turn.
She sure did.
So you know what? I can't remember whether Niall was the only one that turned for her or whether multiple people turned.
Not sure. I can't remember.
But come on, validation. Being on a stage like that with those heavy hitters, and you're on to the next competition. Hopefully that will help her to move forward in her progress of confidence, knowing I'm on somebody picked me, somebody that has ears and know what they're listening to chose my sound. And hopefully that can propel her confidence. Sorry, didn't mean to cut it.
No. Please keep talking because I was done.
I love the smoky. That's the first thing that came to mind.
Smoky,
like she has this very smoky texture to her voice. Okay, this might sound a little weird, but this is who I heard. Okay. Not as far as accent, but I think with the heaviness of her voice, which is cool, by the way. I'm not saying heavy is bad. Heavy is very cool. I heard Shakira.
Yes.
I heard Shakira.
Oh, Stephanie,
without the twanginess of Shakira's voice. That's what I heard. I don't know if I heard Dua Lipa, but she reminded me in presence of Dua Lipa.
Had that look.
Yeah, and if you notice, if you've ever seen Dua Lipa perform, she does dance, she does perform, but she's not overly exuberant and demonstrative with her gestures. So along with the confidence, stage presence as well, because we are on TV and moving forward in the competition, all of those things are going to have to play. Yeah. Your stage presence, your confidence, your tone. I mean, and you've got the singing part is you don't need to, well, we could all work on things, but what, the singing is not something that is an issue or that could potentially be an issue for Gina moving forward. Is the confidence and the stage presence. And all that is, I remember them saying this from last season. I believe that, who was Coach Camila gave a couple of her artists stage presence tactics, looking in a mirror, singing in a mirror, recording yourself just so that you can see what we see and then adjust based on that. Gina, I cannot wait to see what you sing next because I love the cool texture to your voice. I love it. So I cannot wait to see who she's paired up with in battles and what that sounds like.
Absolutely. So who does she go with?
She is with Coach Niall.
Niall's another one. Niall and Chance have extremely eclectic teams, and I'm going to love their battles.
Oh, yeah.
Because the styles and the voices are all over the place in a good way. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome.
Fun fact about Gina, her dad is a DJ.
Yeah.
He used to be a DJ. I don't know if he currently is, but when she was younger, he was a DJ, and she used to go to gigs with him and help him set up. And that's kind of where her love for music began, with her daddy. I love that.
I'm like Stephanie. Can't wait to see what you do next, Gina.
Oh, yes.
All right, who we got next, Stephanie?
Next up was Kason Lester. He is 33 years old from Lebanon, Tennessee. And he sang my 90s rock. No, this is 2000s. Excuse me, my 2000s. My 2000s rock jam. It's Not Over by Daughtry.
American Idol alum. Woo! Daughtry, Chris Daughtry.
I have it in my head. I'm trying not to sing.
Yeah. Kason, great job. Mm-hmm. Like, great job on a very, it's like a rock anthem of the, it's 2000s. Like, 2000s, like it graduated, this type of rock music. The reason why I think Daughtry was so big is because this type of rock music kind of hit its heyday in the 70s and 80s. Mm-hmm. And Daughtry kind of brought back that sound.
Yes.
That grit, right?
Yes.
Yes. And I love a song with good grit. And I thought Kason did a stand-up job with this song. Mm-hmm. If I had one note for you, Kason, and this is just a personal note for me, I want to hear a little bit more. I want you to give a little bit more energy, mm-hmm. like a little bit rougher, mm-hmm. and that may be out of your comfort zone. Mm-hmm. But I wanted to hear a little bit of a rougher sound. Of course, never compromising the voice,
right?
But and it to have a little bit more energy, because I think it was a little imbalanced for me. Not that you did not give a good vocal. It was mm-hmm. a little imbalanced for me because I thought the band was giving the energy. And
that's it.
I think that you weren't quite at the same energy level as the band. Vocally, you were there, sir. So right. That's why I'm so glad that you are, you live to fight another day, because I think you could take that note and then everybody's going to be like, yo, where did he come from? But I thought it was a great job. Great job. What do you say, Stephanie?
Okay, so you hit the nail on the head with what I couldn't figure out was going on.
I mean, that's why we're the Pitchy Podcast,
Listen, come on, go team, high five. Because I really enjoyed Kason's vocal. And when I put it in my ears, I enjoyed it even more, as often happens.
Yeah.
And where I thought that there was a really big gap of energy when I was listening to it without my ears, that gap got a little bit smaller for me when I put my good ears on. But there was still a gap for me as far as energy goes, and I could not put my finger on what it was. See, this is what you did, Kason. You done picked a song that the band really liked.
Yes. And the band is guilty of this.
Yes. And when the band likes the song, they hit different.
They do.
Especially the drummer. That drummer was going off. Okay.
It was.
And so I don't know that he would have been able to match the energy of that band because of it just being the blind auditions. You don't have the lights. You don't have the post-production. You don't have him surrounded by band. You just kind of have him on a stage and band separate. Yeah. So I think that might have been a little bit of where the disparity was. Again, awesome vocal for that song. Really loved the grit in your voice. It sounds really authentic to you. It does not sound like you're trying to be Daughtry. I think that the thing about singing a song like this that is so known and having it arranged in a very similar way as the original recording is that we are going to compare. And there are some things that Daughtry does in his vocal that gives a little accent, a little push, a little
that's it.
To some of the words and phrases that he did that you just chose not to do. And that's cool. And that's fine. And we actually like that because it makes it less of a karaoke song when you make it your own. It's just a difference. And that people can like that difference or not like that difference. Now, your coach liked that difference. Mm-hmm. Your coach loved what he heard. So I'm really, really glad that you got a chair turn and that we get to see more of you, because I can't wait to see who you're paired up with, and I can't wait to see you in the battles.
And your coach is?
Your coach is Coach Blake.
And anyone that Blake turns for is a formidable contestant.
Exactly. And he turned pretty quickly. Like, he was Blake, like, oh, rock singer?
Right.
Thank you. Yes.
Yep. Yeah. So anyone that Blake turns for, like, yo.
You should take it as a high compliment, because
Very
he does
high.
not.
The highest.
He's the highest because he does not hit his button easily, period. And he will not hit his button easily on his last season where he wants to win, for sure.
Right.
So
right. Awesome
kudos
job.
to you. Kudos to you.
Tell us about Kason, Steph.
Fun fact is he is a strawberry farmer. I thought that was so cool with his brother. But he loves music so much. He has a recording studio in his house. And Kason said that he was raised on Michael Jackson and 70s music. So I would love to see those influences worked into his performances down the line.
Kason might have another genre up his sleeve.
I think he does.
He might have another genre up his sleeve.
I think he does.
Which would be awesome.
Awesome.
Pitchy Podcast is like, the more genres, the better.
Come on, diversity.
That's right. All right, so who do we have next?
Ooh, next up was J.B. Summers. He is 31 years old from Montgomery, Alabama, and he sang A Case of You by Joni Mitchell.
I gotta take a moment of silence for JB, because this, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, unless somebody does something out of this world tonight, JB is my dark horse to win this whole doggone competition.
Mm-hmm.
And not because JB, necessarily has the strongest voice.
Right.
But it's the complete opposite. Because where JB's strength is...
Come on.
In singing a Joni Mitchell song...
Mm-hmm.
Is the intimacy in his voice.
Mm-hmm.
The way he caresses his voice.
Come on.
You just don't hear male voices sing like this.
I know that's right.
Anymore. They used to. But there's a passion. And I'm using words to describe his voice like he's in love with his voice. Like there's a true deep passion. And these are the only words I could use, because it was an experience to hear this young man sing. Mm-hmm. JB, you are you have a special instrument.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved, one of my favorite parts is when Chance hadn't turned around yet, and he looked over at Kelly or Niall. I couldn't tell who he was looking at.
Kelly.
He said, "Kelly, I'm just waiting for him for the Columbia. I'm just waiting for." Was that the
No,
lyric?
he was waiting for him to hit the high note.
But I'm trying to think of the lyric.
It was the first verse.
Yeah, I think
I can't think of the lyric.
I thought the lyric was Columbia or something. I don't know, or some country or state. And then when right when he said it is when JB went up and showed us one of the most glorious developed falsettos. And I'm not talking about the same type of falsetto as, say, an Omar.
Right.
I'm saying a light, floaty, airy falsetto.
Yeah.
That just ascended into heaven. Like it was just, it was otherworldly, JB. Like, and you just seemed like, your voice seemed like it was in another dimension.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was looking at you sing, and I'm like, is he really making these sounds?
Right. Right.
Like, is he really, it just seemed like your voice had a mind of its own artistically, and you weren't controlling it. Like, it was making these incredible choices, and it was almost like it was navigating itself, like it was on autopilot.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, I'm not going to give your voice all the credit, because you have to facilitate this instrument, and that shows the testament to your hard work, to your dedication, and to your craft.
Absolutely.
I don't have enough adjectives to describe this performance. You all must. Stephanie's going to put a link to all of these performances. You must listen to this.
Yes.
And he was so delicate with
Come on.
this song. He took his time.
Mm-hmm.
Kelly used the best word. She said, "Did you hear his textures?"
Yep.
Like texture.
Mm-hmm.
He's my dark horse to come in and take this off, because with a voice like that, Stephanie, this dude can sing anything.
Yeah,
like he really, really can. But I love that he brought a song that had high notes. Oh, don't get me wrong, because his falsetto is one of the strongest that have ever come on this show for a male voice.
Right.
But it always was in control.
Yeah.
And it was always just ethereal sounding.
Yes. Yes.
And I don't want to spend too much more time, but JB, wow.
Wow is right.
I want to learn how to sing like you, bro. It
was beautiful. It was such a vulnerable and emotional, but controlled, like not overly emotional as an out of control, but emotional performance. I believe it was dedicated to his sister who had passed away. So JB, you definitely did your sister proud. Absolutely. What came to mind when I heard his voice was Michael Bolton.
Yes.
Like that.
I would say Michael Bolton. For me, it was Michael Bolton in the lower part of his voice. Mm-hmm. I thought JB's falsetto was all his own.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think what I was hearing was like an 80s pop rock sound that you just don't hear anymore.
Like I was saying, yeah, exactly. You don't hear it. You
don't hear it. Those like power, like I want to hear him sing like a power ballad, like just an 80s, 70s like power ballad.
How am I supposed to live without you?
I'm just sitting here blinking for those that are not watching, because I think I would lose my mind. Like that would make me fall to the floor in a puddle. Just a beautiful voice. And he just seems like a really beautiful person.
Yeah.
I don't have much to say. I literally wrote no critique, because he was another one. Within 3 seconds, I was like, pen down. I'm just going to absorb this and enjoy this, because it was that.
It got even better in our good ears, Stephanie.
Oh, it did.
It got even better. It got even better. And here we go. Like, how many musicians this season are Nashville? Like, I'm so and so, but I'm in Nashville, and y'all, Music City. It is Nashville. You don't go to play around.
No, you better be serious when you go.
He's gigging in Nashville, y'all. Watch out.
That's right.
Watch out.
That's absolutely right. Mm-hmm.
All right. So, what's his fun fact?
Well, before I tell you his fun fact, I'll tell you whose team he's on.
Oh, this was hard. This was a hard one.
Yeah, because
I would have gone either way, right?
Absolutely. But he is on.
I can't believe he was not a 4-chair turn. I'm a little angry about that. But.
I know. He is on Team Kelly. Good pickup for Kelly.
And see, I love it. I know there was playful banter between Kelly and Blake, but Blake knows that Kelly Clarkson is going to get some singers.
That's right.
Not singers, singers.
Singers. Yes.
And absolutely. Kelly Clarkson, like the bench is just It's so, and like, I can't even see the back of the bench. It's so deep.
I know, it's deep. Absolutely. Absolutely. So
right.
the fun fact about JB is that he currently, or did before The Voice, work for the Sarah Cannon Research Institute that activates clinical trials for cancer research.
Wow.
So this dude is just like all around good human being. So best of luck to you, JB, and the rest of the competition. We cannot wait.
Got my eye on you, young man.
Absolutely.
Got my eye on you because you're my dark horse.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, who we got next?
Next up is Ray Urel. He's 24 years old from Gary, Indiana.
Gary.
He sang Glimpse of Us by Joe G.
Shout out to Michael Jackson's hometown and the Jacksons.
Come on.
Gary. Right outside Chicago. How we say it in Baltimore. Gary.
Gary.
Every time I hear this song, I just want to let out a large sigh.
That's the appropriate response.
Joe G wrote a perfect song.
Come on.
But Joe G also wrote a next to impossible to sing song.
Right. Yeah.
For the male voice.
Mm-hmm.
Altos like Stephanie could sing this song all day because it's like perfectly in
Ooh, it's right in the cut. It is right in the cut.
But to me, it gives it a more dramatic flair when a lower voice, like a male voice, sings this song.
Absolutely.
Because here's another song, like with JB's, here's another song that is just as vulnerable as the Joni Mitchell, but it's today. Right? This song just came out a year or two ago. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's very now. It's very current.
Right.
And I've heard some pretty rough versions of this song. Not on The Voice, because Bodie sang this song last year and tore it up.
Yeah.
But I've heard pretty rough versions of this song, period. Because, I'm that geek that goes and looks for people's covers when I really like a song. Okay? Yes. Stephanie and I are those geeks.
Yes, we are.
So, I love the R&B he brought to it. Because
Bingo.
Stephanie, it was done in good taste.
Bingo.
Because this is a song where you need to be very careful, because if you're going to stylize it, you need to not lose the integrity of the song. Yeah. And I thought Ray kept the integrity intact. Mm-hmm. And his runs were nicely ornamentally placed. Mm-hmm. And he stayed respectful to the continuity of the song. Mm-hmm. And it sounded, this is another one I had to put my good ears on for. Right. And when I listened back to it, I said, wow. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness. Like he's taking the most difficult parts of the song. And I was talking to Stephanie and her husband last night. Because like when things are really good, like we'll occasionally reach out to each other. But I was talking to them last night and I was saying the reason why this song is so difficult is the falsetto is not just falsetto singing. It is a whisper, almost a whisper falsetto. So there's air. Mm-hmm. Like I can't even do it right now because of my allergies. But that's all I can describe it as, a whisper falsetto. So to me, it takes even more breath support and breath control to do it. Yeah. And I thought Ray had a very strong handle of that. Mm-hmm. What say you, Steph?
When I first heard Ray's voice, I was like, oh, hello, 90s R&B New Edition voice.
Yes.
Oh, hello, Sean from Boys to Men voice.
Oh, that's a good one.
I was like, oh, hi. We could use some of that on The Voice.
Oh, yes. Yes, we can.
And then I put it in my good ears and I said, oh, come on, vibrato. That's pretty much in the entirety of his voice, but you can really hear the quiver of it at the end of the lines. He has such, and I hope this is not disrespectful, but I hope you take this as a compliment because this is how I mean it. Mm-hmm. He has such a pretty voice.
Pretty.
It's such a pretty voice. It's beautiful.
Yep.
And it was interesting, James, because you and I had a conversation a little while ago when you were talking about something that you're singing and how there's quietness to a portion of that song. where that's the part that you're really working on. And it reminded me of Ray, because there were a lot of parts in this song where he was in his falsetto and it was so whispery that he had to trust his mic in order to pick that up. And I only really was able to appreciate that when I put my good ears in. So it was beautiful. And I think because of the quietness of that, of some of those details to his voice, I think that's why it took so long for him to get a chair turn, because if I needed my good ears to be able to hear some of those really beautiful nuances, if you're in the house where everything is just all there and you don't have it right here, it could be easy to miss some of those things. So I am so glad that at the last minute, a coach turned because he really deserved for somebody to turn for him. Absolutely.
You know what I thought was not funny, but funny, because I'm glad someone turned. Like, did you see his brother shaking his head like the whole turn? Yeah. His brother was like, and then boom. So I'm glad he's around to fight another day. I think he, like you said, he brings this whole 90s R&B, Sean and other singers of the 90s, like you said, new edition sound to the competition, which is needed.
Yeah. Based on how the show was going, I knew he was going to get a chair turn.
Nice.
It was pretty much the way they had set up the show. It was like, oh, he's going to get a chair turn.
So who did he go with?
I'm going to be upset. Coach Chance.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Coach Chance.
Great pickup for Chance.
Absolutely.
All right, so what's his fun fact?
So at some point when he was younger, he and his friends put together a sold-out cabaret in his hometown. The word cabaret just kind of caught me off guard. Not a concert. They did not put on a concert. It's
a cabaret.
It was a cabaret.
I said,
what you sold out.
Did you have drinks? And
come on, I have no idea, but it was sold out.
Was it in a smoky room?
That's what I'm imagining. So I think that was really cool. Yes.
All right, and I know he also stated how he has a deep musical theater background as well.
Absolutely, yes.
So that's always going to come in handy with stage presence.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, great. So who do we have next?
Okay, up next was Alyssa Lazar. She's 24 years old from Scranton, Pennsylvania. She sang Maybe I'm Amazed by Paul McCartney. The thing is, guys, we got to see about 15.2 seconds, not even. Maybe 5.2 seconds of this performance.
What, maybe 2 bars?
2 bars, a strong 2 bars.
A strong 2 bars.
A strong 2 bars of this performance. Alyssa was not only singing during this performance, but she was actually playing the keys.
Yeah.
So we would have really loved to have seen this whole performance, especially because she is on Chance's team. So Chance turned for her. So she was amazing, I'm sure. We just did not get to see her full audition.
One thing I liked about this section, though, that they gave Chance his props, that the other coaches gave Chance his props. Steph, you remember they said, y'all, Chance's ear, like he'll hear things before any of us. Why you got that look? You want to say something about that? They said Chance hears things before any of us do. They said nobody has an ear like Chance.
I thought that was an interesting way of saying something interesting. I was wondering if they were saying like, no. I think I was like, is that what they're saying? Or were they saying that they can't hear what he's hearing? Like in a bad way or in a good way?
Right.
We couldn't really tell with Alyssa. With Ray, that's absolutely true. They could not, and it took us to put our good ears in to really hear what he heard about, to hear about Ray. So maybe they're right. Maybe they're right. And looking at some of the artists that Chance has picked, and a couple of the ones that he's been the only one to turn for them, I think that there might be some merit to what they're saying. He definitely has probably one of the most eclectic ears and one of the most experience with the with a different genre of musicians. Right. So I think that he could hear what to do with some of these artists that maybe some of the other coaches could not.
Remember,
so I guess
Chance does have Sorella, right?
Come on.
He has Sorella. That was his first pickup, I think, which was probably one of his biggest pickups.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's got those ears, those big ears. That's our big mentor. Ears. That's one of our music mentors used to say.
Yes.
Yeah. Who's next?
Up next was Rachel Christine. She's 22 years old from Burlington, Wisconsin. And she sang Uninvited by Alanis Morissette.
Y'all, this is my heart beating to this song. Stephanie and I just have a special relationship with this song. This song is 90s. This song is one of the biggest artists of the 90s.
Yep.
And it's one of the most difficult songs.
Come on.
Like, period. This song is just... Alanis wrote, it's just otherworldly.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a song straight from heaven.
although it sounds kind of like it's from the other place.
Right.
Like it's got a creep factor to it.
It does, but that's that creepy piano intro to this song. It's one of those songs where you hear the piano intro and it's like you hear the first half a bar, right, Steph? Yep. And you're like, you know what the song is.
Absolutely.
But then the song just goes to the song. You know what this song? You know who could cover this song? I just thought about this.
Who?
The singer from Evanescence. Imagine her singing this song. Like it'd been like if she did a cover of that song. Because it's a very Evanescence type of song, right?
Yeah.
But this was before Evanescence, right?
Yes.
So that just shows you how far ahead Alanis was. Yeah, wouldn't that be cool for her to?
That would be in my head. So cool.
That's this crazy musical head that I got.
Love it.
This was y'all, Rachel. Full disclosure, this is one of those songs when I heard it announced what you were singing, I got a little nervous. Stephanie and I got a little scared. A little scared. Because we know how tall of an order it is to sing this song. Mm-hmm. Rachel, you killed it. Like you really like mm-hmm. you are so right there. Like you are just so. Kelly gave you a note, and I'm not going to repeat it because you all can watch it. But Kelly gave you a note that was right on the money. Pay attention to Kelly's note, Rachel. Mm-hmm. But I thought you did this song justice. Mm-hmm. You really, really did, because this song is one of those impossible songs to sing.
For sure.
And when Stephanie and I put our good ears in, we were like, yo, Rachel, like, I don't know. Stephanie, I don't know people. Many people won't even attempt this song, Stephanie. It's one of those songs that a lot of people don't even attempt.
Because most people shouldn't.
Said the Jersey girl. South Jersey girl. Look. It's true.
It's true.
It's true. See, I like Stephanie because Stephanie she'll always keep it plain. She'll always
Most people should not. This song is too much for most folk.
I'm going to let Stephanie give this note because I thought it was such a brilliant note when we briefly talked about this last night. So to jog your memory, Stephanie, I hope you know.
Thank you, because I'm like, what'd I say?
You remember the note that you said that what you want to hear out of this song?
Oh, yeah.
A little.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Yes. I want you to talk about that, Stephanie, because it was such a brilliant note that you gave about this song, because I never thought of it like that.
Yeah,
I never quite thought of it like that. So, Stephanie, Rachel, like I said, y'all, the women this season.
These women are not playing. We're coming to win. We are coming to win. So, I think about this in general when I think of Alanis Morissette, but for this song in particular, I think I'll reword it a little bit differently than what I told you, James. But there's a bit of abandon that you have to have with a song like this. You have to just be able to just be completely free, because
almost a detachment from yourself, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I might, if I remember, I will link the MTV, what was it? The MTV.
It was the Grammys.
The Grammys. I'm sorry. The Grammy performance that
it was the Grammys
did to this song. And you will see exactly what we mean by what we just said. She almost seems unhinged to a point.
Yes. Great word. Great word.
But her vocal sounds like it too, but also in a controlled way. If all of that makes sense, I'll be sure to link that performance so that you can see exactly what we mean. Just as James said, level of difficulty is a 22.6 for the song. Like it's just ridiculous. And here's why. Because if you don't know this song, melodically, there are so many strange things that go on to the actual melody of this song that where some of the notes land, you think that they're not supposed to land there, because I don't know. You know, I don't know.
There's dissonance.
Thank you. The word. Because I was going to say, I don't know what it's called.
Dissonance.
But it don't sound right, but it's right. But you have to hit it right on.
Can I add on to that, Stephanie?
Of course.
What also makes this song is so difficult is from the accompaniment, you don't get the melody.
Come on, that's it.
You don't get the melody. So you got to know the melody so cold.
Oh my gosh, you are absolutely
it's like
right,
two
James.
different songs. It's like the singer singing the melody and the band is doing something completely different.
I never thought about it like that, but that is completely
you got to know this song cold.
So another reason why that this is an interesting choice as an audition is that you are expecting that each one of these coaches knows the song. And if they don't, because the melody that you're singing sounds like is not a regular, uncomplicated melody, then it could make them think that maybe you're not hitting a note correctly because it is so unusual.
Right.
So it was a really daring choice for Rachel to choose this song. And again, once we put these good ears in, Miss Rachel, you did that song justice.
You did it.
You really did.
You did the darn thing, girl.
Even energy wise, you know, I know how we were just talking about Alanis being kind of unhinged when she's singing the song and performing the song. That was not Rachel in body. But if you really listen to the vocal, it was like, oh, she's climbing. She's climbing. She's like energy wise and intensity wise, it continued to climb and build. It was like,
what I also liked that was 100% Rachel, and we knew we were listening to greatness, and it was not copycat, is she did not do the Alanis yodel throughout the entire song. And I said, girlfriend, like, seriously?
Yes.
Seriously? Because everyone wants to do the Alanis yodel. Fascination with me. No.
No. That is such a good point, James. She did not. And I'm so glad she didn't. Because if you don't yodel, don't. Just because Alanis does, don't do it. Because then that takes away from you as a performer and us figuring out and getting to know who you are. Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
All right. So who did she go with? Oh, I love who she chose. I love it. I love it.
She's with Coach Kylee.
Oh, Kylee. Kylee is just, she's stealing them, Steph. She's stealing them.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez.
Absolutely.
Ooh, that bitch. Fun fact.
Fun fact is that Rachel performs with her sister once a month in a girl group called the Gebel Girls. I'm sorry if I'm saying your last name wrong. It's Gebel. It's their last name. So I believe it's Gebel. So the Gebel Girls.
Is Rachel the one where her mom was a singer too?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe so. Yeah. Yes. So it seems like
get it from her mama. Come on.
Get it from her mama. Absolutely.
All right, Stephanie. So who is our final contestant of this long evening, but
yes,
a very entertaining evening?
Absolutely. Our last artist was Cait Martin. She's 32 years old from Atlanta, Georgia. And she sang As It Was by Harry Styles. Why was I worshiping to As It Was by Harry Styles as performed by Cait Martin? Why was I in full worship? Why? You can tell everybody why, James. As James has his eyes closed for those of you that are listening. And he is shaking his head.
Stephanie sent this. This was an early release, right? This was a leak or whatever, as they like to call it.
Yes, so Friday leak.
So Stephanie sent this to me Friday evening. Stephanie, did you even accompany that? You just sent it to me, right? You didn't even say anything.
Oh, I didn't say anything.
You just sent it to me. She sent me the link. And it took me a minute because I was at a conference this past weekend, but it took me a minute to pull it up. Cait, I haven't stopped listening to your audition. Stephanie, I haven't stopped. I don't care if it was in our good ears. I don't care if it was in our car. I don't care because that's where I was when I first heard it. Cait, I just kept sliding the bar back on YouTube. Because I didn't even need, first of all, I didn't even need to hear the comments and I didn't even need you to get to the end of the song to know that you were going to be a 4-chair turn from literally, as Kelly Clarkson said, the first 2 notes that came out of your mouth.
Right.
From that gloriously blessed throat of yours.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Everything. If you look up nuance in the dictionary, it would be a picture of Cait.
Yes.
Everything about your voice is nuanced.
Mm-hmm.
Everything about your voice is... Stephanie, I don't think we've talked about it this much this season at all, but Stephanie used to say, the voice is it's like recorded quality.
Yes. Yes.
There needs to be nothing done to it. It's
right.
You don't have to, she's a first take type singer. If you get an audition like that, this is why I cannot wait till she makes it to the lives, because she will make it to the lives.
Absolutely.
Stephanie and I will, the Pitchy podcast will will her to the lives.
Yes, we will.
But I can't wait to hear her in the lives, because you, for those of you who not heard her yet, you're going to hear nuances. You're going to hear probably one of the best sleep, I made it up, I don't care, controlled voices.
Yes.
In control of her voice. And
absolutely.
I'm not going to give it away because Stephanie, because Cait she has a gang of fun facts. So I'm going to let Stephanie talk about why her voice is the way it is. It makes sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
And her fun fact, because I think it's an astonishing fact about her. To Stephanie's point about finishing lines. I can't even do it. Holding me back.
Come on.
Did you hear that, y'all? Back. Did you hear the perfectly placed consonants? I'm sorry, I'm getting technical, but the perfectly placed consonants at the end of every verse.
Every line.
Thank you. Sorry.
Every line.
Nothing the same. It was perfect singing.
Yes.
I think the description and described is a perfect word that the YouTube link said flawless.
Flawless.
It was a flawless vocal.
She woke up like this. She woke up like this. Flawless.
Cait. Seriously, I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say, Stephanie, other than the fact that it's going to be, it won't be soon enough until we hear her again.
You got that right.
It won't be soon enough.
You got that right.
I haven't gone on Facebook or YouTube to find other stuff by her because I try not to do it because I used to do this all the time before I started the Pitchy podcast where I try to find other things from that person.
Right.
And I don't want to do that anymore because I want to see their progression on the show before I start looking for them singing other things.
Right.
Which I'm sure, because when Stephanie again talks about her fun fact, there's, I'm sure, stuff out there, but it may not be with what you think. Just a little clue as to what her fun fact is. Stephanie, the way she bends notes, the way she, like, that vibrato was sick. It was like almost a flutter, but it was like, I can't imitate that. Like it was like almost there's a vocal term called a trill, like almost a trill, not a shrill, no, but trill to her voice, which is very difficult to emulate. And I'm just like nuance, y'all. Like she didn't just say holding me back. She said holding me back. Like almost like a rise and fall. Right. The intonation is the word in music terms of her voice. The rise and fall of her voice was just. She's next level, y'all. She's next level. She is like, it's like everyone else. And absolutely. That's all I can say. It is. So what's your take?
Another one. Pen. And you know, we had gotten this leaked, so we spent all weekend listening and analyzing and who does she sound like, and so you know there were no notes taken other than who does she sound like, if she sounds like anything. And it's so funny, all of these things that run through my mind when I think about Cait, that kind of leads to a part of her fun fact. So when I hear her, all I hear is crystal clear. Like it's just her voice is crystal clear as blue water. And she reminds me, like the closest entity that I could think of was a Disney princess. Yeah. Like she has that Disney princess, bright, smiling, open, free, floaty, perfect, flawless voice. That's the only thing that could compare. At the beginning, you heard a little bit of Whitney. I even might have heard a little bit of Ariana Grande. But what is most in front of me as to what she sounds like is a Disney princess. And I mean that in the best way, because those Disney princess vocals they go hard. You know, you have to be a singer to be singing some of those iconic.
It's like hearing Halle Bailey singing "Part of Your World" now, right?
Come on.
Or when you hear Anika Noni Rose singing Tiana. Yes. Or when you hear, I forget Paige's last name, singing Belle. Yes. And Beauty and the Beast. Yes. Or when you hear, and I can't think of, because she's a Broadway actress, when you hear the woman who voiced the singing voice of Pocahontas. It's that type of voice. And because she played Cosette in the original, the one who did the voice of Pocahontas played Cosette in the original Les Miserables, the United States Les Mis, and I can't. I don't know why her name's leaving me. It's like you said. I'm thinking of all the Jodie Benson played the original Belle's voice. Excuse me, the original Ariel's voice. It's like you think of that type of voice, but it's R&B. Yes, it's R&B. Yes, it's R&B. Soul in it. Yes. Did you hear her perfectly ornamented runs, Stephanie? It was perfect. It was like
come on, Choice. A perfect. That is something that I wrote down. Come on, Choice. Yeah, because them runs were flawless. They were so good. They were.
And they didn't take away from the vocal line. They didn't take away from the melody. They didn't take away from anything. No. It was a perfect audition. with an incredibly arranged version of Mr. Styles' song.
Come on.
Because isn't that song a fast song? Like not like more up tempo than
it's more up tempo than what she did. Absolutely.
She stripped it down.
She had me trying to find the Jesus in this song. My husband was cracking up at me because I'm over there. Hallelujah.
Holding me down. And then she gave me, then had the nerve to give us the highs. She gave some Shantae Moore when she went up high. I said, look, I can't.
I can't either.
I can't with you, young woman.
It was good.
Talk about the fun facts, because this alone, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, this explained a lot.
Because we heard the voice before we saw her background.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, okay, I get it.
Yeah. Cait works as a voiceover artist, which the clarity in her voice, and the
diction.
Way yes, the diction. That's where that comes from. And she was also a cruise ship singer. And if you ever been on a cruise ship, you know that the folks that sing on those cruise ships doing 7 shows a day, a week, maybe multiple. More.
Sometimes 4 shows a day. I only know this because I got a friend on who's on working a Disney cruise right now, playing the genie in Aladdin, and it ain't no joke.
It ain't no joke, and they
and you will hear
especially. Yeah, you will hear especially. I've heard from people that have been on Disney cruises that those shows feel to them as high quality as Broadway.
Yep. And a lot of those people go on to be in the national tours or Broadway productions. And y'all, guess what? All the Disney shows are still on Broadway. And they're still touring because that's that Walt Disney money.
I know that's right.
Yo, that performance.
We did not say whose team she's on.
It was so funny. Stephanie, you remember what I texted you before I even... when I found out whose team she got on? Do you remember when I texted you last night?
Yes.
When I texted you.
Wait. Yes. Yes.
When I texted
you said Cait better had picked Kelly. Better. Because wasn't it her mother that was like, Kelly!
And Kelly Clarkson said it was the Lord's will for her to listen to her mother. She said, and the Lord said it's good.
The Lord said it is good. And that is who Cait picked. Cait picked Coach Kelly.
Y'all, Kelly Clarkson's team is unstoppable.
Oh.
It is, and we're not even done. I think she's got, one more?
They've all got one more
spot?
They've all got
Kelly
one more.
Kelly Clarkson's team ain't done, y'all. And she picked up Rachel and
Cait. Yeah.
Last night.
And JB.
And that alone there.
They could win right there.
That alone there.
That
I'll tell you, all I'm saying is, Kelly, don't put the 3 of them in the 3-way.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Can't do that.
Oh my goodness. Woo. But it's like her team is so deep. It's like, who do you pick?
Yeah. Oh, last night was so good, Steph.
It was. It was.
All right. So we got our last night coming up of Blind. So I'm very excited to see what's coming up for the final. And then comes, I don't know about you, Steph. I always say this, my favorite rounds. The battles.
James love a battle. Love a battle.
Oh, because I'm here for the collaborative part of it. I'm here for the what you gonna do when you start working with the band.
That's right.
Are we gonna get another Devik Sasha? I'm sure we are.
Yeah.
Are we gonna get another Jaden Bodie? I know we are.
Come on.
Yeah. So okay. Yes. So Steph, tell us what we need to hear.
Okay, so don't forget to follow and subscribe to the Pitchy podcast on your favorite podcast platform so you can be the first to know when we drop a new episode. And remember, Spotify is still being a little Spotify, so go to your other podcast platforms to find us. And guess what? You already know we are on YouTube. Please search for the Pitchy Podcast and hit that subscribe button so that you know when we drop a new video. And lastly, don't forget to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at the Pitchy Podcast for new episode alerts, episode clips, and so much more.
Awesome. Well, I'll see you again tomorrow, Stephanie, to talk about the final night of the blinds.
Yes. Can't wait.
Everybody have a wonderful rest of your day.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.